We're live, Mello. Yeah, we're live. You see everybody? Hey guys, how you doing this evening? How are you? Hope everybody is doing good. I'm here with Mello. He is enjoying his new toys from BarkBox. He gets BarkBox every month, so he's enjoying his toys. Can I show them what you got? Okay, so he's got it's ice cream month right? You got ice cream? Cool. Here you go. All right, there you go. All right, guys. Hope everybody is doing well and stuff. This week, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because let me tell you, I've been having one hell of a week, okay? Got a lot of orders and stuff, and things happen, okay? Trying to get the orders done. Some of the orders come out okay. Then I make some mistakes. And I tried to do some embroidery for myself. That didn't go too hot. And right now I am working on a retirement gift for a good friend of mine who is retiring from the Army. And I wanted to make him a beer mug. And I'm doing it in sublimation. And here's Mallow. It's a hit and miss situation with sublimation. That's why I always say it's like a love and hate relationship with me and sublimation, right, Mello? Sometimes it comes out and sometimes it just doesn't. I know. And he always gives me that look. Give me that look. I guess he wants to be part of the show this Friday. Okay. So anyway, I want to show you what happened. And I had to make a change in my plans and stuff. I wanted to do a beer mug, so now he's getting a coffee mug, but I'm not giving up, and I'm going to try to make this beer mug for him because I really want to give this to him. But anyway, embarrassing moments of embroidery. So for those of you that have been watching videos on my channel, the last video that I did, I was trying to do a pillow for myself, okay? I bought a bed set, and the bed set came with like 3 blank pillows, and I figured I'm going to do something for me because, usually when you do embroidery and you run it as a business, you're always doing everything for everybody else, right? So I'm like, I want to do something, So I took the pillow. I don't know what was going on with me, okay? Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and everything that I could do wrong, I did do wrong. I even put the hoop in the machine incorrectly, which misaligned the machine, and I ended up with a mess, right? So at the end of the video, you kind of see me holding the blanket and with a seam ripper and the Peggy stitch eraser in the hand, ready to go out of town. So with that being said, okay, if you do errors in embroidery, okay, seam rippers are your friend. And if you can get your hands on something like a Peggy stitch eraser, I recommend doing that. Now, I know some people, when you look at the Peggy stitch eraser, it kind of looks like it's the same thing that men use to like shave their heads, or dog groomers uses to cut the hair down on a dog. Now, I've never taken a shaver and tried to use that to cut the stitches. It does look like the same concept, so I sometimes do wonder if instead of getting a Peggy stitch eraser, if you can do that. So that would probably be something that I'm probably going to test out, because I know my son has a cutter for his hair, and so is my husband. So I guess when they're not looking, maybe I'll like grab it and just like see if there's an actual difference. I don't know. But anyway, finally finished it. Look, not one stitch. See? So I'm ready to try again. Okay, so I will be filming me doing this all over again, and hopefully this time it will be a success. So by using the Peggy stitch eraser and by using your seam ripper, you can remove your embroidery from a product. Okay, you just have to be very careful. One of the things that I learned was that your stabilizer in the back, when you are removing the stitches, is your friend, because that is where you want to go and do all the cutting. What you want to do is aim for the bobbin thread. Okay, when you aim for the bobbin thread, it loosens up all the thread on the opposite direction on the top. Okay, so if you flip it on the top, it will loosen all that thread, and believe me, it will come off. It just takes a lot of time. Okay, so depending how much stitching you have to remove, and if you saw, I saw that video, you saw that I messed up big time. Okay, so I had a bunch of stitches to remove from this item, and as you can see, every stitch is gone. Okay, so I am good to go to give this another shot. So I will film that. Okay, so when we're talking about disappointments, we are talking about mistakes. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about some of, I guess I called it embroidering disappointments, because what it is it's a craft that I know I love. Okay, and I know that a lot of people that do embroidery, they do it because they love doing it too. But there can be downsizes to embroidery, and I wanted to talk to you guys about some of those downsizes and some of the things that I do. Okay, like for instance, the mistakes. Okay, mistakes are going to happen. Okay, nobody is super duper perfect. Somebody tells you they are. I don't think so. Okay, telling Jeanette doesn't think so, because it's not true. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all have our good and our bad days. There are times when I embroider and the things come out looking gorgeous, and then there are times that I embroider and the stuff look like crap. Okay, so it happens to us all. Okay, so that is something that, get over it. It's gonna happen. You just do the best you can. Learn from it. Think of it positively. Okay, go, Jesus, I screwed up. And this is what I learned from this. Okay, I looked at it as it was an opportunity for me to really learn how to properly use the Peggy Stitch Eraser and the Seam Ripper. And I took my time. I just stayed in the zone. And I learned to walk away from it. Of course, I didn't just, at the end of the video, you do see me with it, right? But after a while, I just said, screw it. I put it aside. And then when I had more time and I was comfortable, I just laid it on a table, turned it inside out, laid it on a table, and then I just took my time. Okay. And just did it while I was listening to the trial with that big trial that they got going on now with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and stuff. I just love that trial. So it was like, to me, it was like, I like to watch the whole thing. So anyway, while I was listening to the trial, I was just, doing my thing and removing the stitches and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. So take your time. You're going to make mistakes and all that kind of stuff. The other thing also that I wanted to tell you guys is, when we make mistakes, okay, sometimes the first instinct we get is throw it away. Just take the product, throw it away, go grab another blank, and then embroider again. I'm guilty of that. I have lots of kitchen towels that I've embroidered. I did not undo the embroidery. All I did was I just unhooped it. I cut the kitchen towel in half, and then the part that I embroidered, I tossed out. But sometimes I think about it and I'm like, if I would have just took the time and not have done that and just unembroidered all of it, then maybe I could have saved myself that $3 of towel. But hey, it is what it is, right? So sometimes it's, you got to really think about it before, you get too hasty and you start throwing all these products in the garbage. You got to think about it. Is it worth saving? Right now, to me, this was definitely worth saving, because I was not going to spend another $250 on a bedroom set. Okay. Well, not a bedroom set, but a whole new bedding. Okay. Because I bought this bed set from Macy's, and it was even on sale, And I had my gift cards and all that kind of stuff. You guys know how I do, right? So I went and I said, okay, I'm gonna get me my bedrooms, my what is that called? They're like bed in the bags. They're the ones that come with the sheets, the quilt, and the little shams and all that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. So it came with these, right? So I really want to personalize these because they're blanks, right? They were just very, very plain. So I just looked at it as I'm not going to go out and buy another pillow. So I took the time to actually undo this. Okay. So, sometimes you're going to try to embroider a product and, a project, and it's not going to come out the way you want it. My thing is, don't sweat it. If you can save the item, take the time to save it. You don't have to save it right then and there. Walk away from it and stuff like that. Give it a day or two, and then just do what you got to do. Okay. And then just as time goes on, and you don't even have to do the whole thing one time. Just do a little bit at a time. Before you know it, you could end up taking out all your stitches. Okay. So just wanted to share that. Another thing too, when we talk about embroidery disappointments, sometimes what happens, and I've had a couple of people reach out to me, right? And they say, God, I wanted to embroider so bad. I went and I got the machine. And now that I have the machine, they're afraid of it, right? They're afraid of it. They're looking at it and they're like, oh my God, it has all these buttons. I don't understand it. It has the hoops. And then they look at the threads, and then they look at the stabilizer. And then when they see the different types of needles, the different types of thread, the different types of stabilizers and stuff, they get very, very overwhelmed. And then they tell me, well, Jeanette, I kind of had the machine in the box. And I'm like, okay. And like a whole month passed by, or 2 months or whatever, and they haven't taken the machine out of the box. So, and this doesn't just happen with people that bought the SC1900. It happens with people, with any kind of machine. It's a new machine. It's a new machine. And a lot of times people are afraid to touch it because they think they're going to break it and stuff like that. Get over the fear. You have to get over the fear. You're never going to succeed in whatever it is that you want to do in life, whether it's embroidering, sewing, career-wise, school, whatever it is. Fear is one thing that will always stop you from going that extra mile. If we all have it. We're all going to be fearful of something, but you got to get over it, and you just got to do your thing. Okay. You just have to go ahead and touch that machine, press the buttons, learn how the machine works. If the machine makes, if you make a mistake playing with the machine, then understand it, take that as an opportunity to learn. Okay. So, being afraid of a machine, it's natural. It's new. Okay. But the thing is, as time goes on, you're going to get to learn that machine. Next thing you know, you're going to love the machine, and then you're going to be doing awesome things. So don't let fear, because that's the one thing that I put, because I got my little notebook here, and I called it machine fear. Okay. Don't let machine fear get in the way of you enjoying something you really want to do. Okay. Whether it's for business or even for pleasure. Okay. Because a lot of times, I do my embroidery for a business, but I also do it for pleasure as well. Because like I said, this is something I wanted to do for me. Okay. And I also do a lot of embroidery for family, for friends. Like I said, I have a friend that's retiring from the army, and super proud of him. And I think he did 22 years or 23 years, something like that. And I'm not doing an embroidery item for him. I'm going to show you what I am doing. But there's I really love doing the craft thing, because the craft is something that you can really truly enjoy. Oh, I think it's thundering. Isn't that something? Okay. And I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow, because his party's outside. That's kind of suck, but no matter what, I mean, hell, we'll all dance around in the rain. Okay. So anyway, so I thought about machine fear. Okay. That is something that a lot of people, have to get over. Another thing is learning new techniques. Okay. There are so many different ways to do embroidery. There's a lot of different hoops. There's a lot of different techniques of hooping items. People are very, very creative. So, don't be afraid to learn new techniques. And, try to master, as you try to learn it and everything, try to master it. And then after you mastered it, try to learn how to do it in a different way. Learn about different ways of hooping things. Learn how to embroider things of different types of material. Learn how to deal with different threads. Okay. Some of the things that I've learned because some of you guys out there have challenged me. Like I remember Harmony, she challenged me with I was going to say magnetic thread, metallic thread. Okay. She was like, you got to try metallic thread. You got to try metallic thread. So I went and I did a video in purchasing all types of brands of metallic thread and learning how to work with it, what type of material. And I even learned that you have to slow down the machine and you have to use some type of particular needle when you're dealing with that type of thread. Okay. So don't be afraid of, you know, of learning new techniques, okay? Because as you're learning those new techniques, you're also going to be learning about the different types of fabric. Not every type of fabric can be embroidered the same way. Like I'll give you an example. How about silk, right? Silk, linen, very thin linen, like the handkerchiefs, okay? I had embroidered some handkerchiefs and I found out that when you embroider handkerchiefs, it's better for you to embroider it when you're using a 60 weight thread with a 65 needle, a 65/9 size needle, okay? If you were to take a handkerchief, because handkerchiefs are very, very thin, if you would go ahead and take a handkerchief and you embroider it with a 40 weight thread and you use a 75/11 needle, you get a different type of result. Okay. And as you know, and you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had in one happy hour, I showed you guys the handkerchief and you could see there was a difference in the thickness of the thread and also how the puckering. Okay. So, when you are learning new techniques, you're also learning about the different things that you're using, okay? The difference, and what's the best thing to use when, okay? That's all a learning process. So a lot of times people be like, God, that's disappointing. I embroidered this and it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But then what ends up happening is that it may not have came out the way you wanted it to at that first time, but you're learning. It's a learning process, okay? And people that have been embroidering for years, they're still learning, okay? I mean, we still make mistakes. That's why sometimes in my videos, when I make a mistake, I leave it in because I'm a human just like everybody else. And I want everyone to see the mistakes that I made because just like I learned from it, you guys can learn too and go, wow, she didn't put the hoop in right. So now we know what happens. Okay. Because that's what happened at the last one. Right. So, and the other thing that I wanted to say is you got to learn how to embrace your friend. When I talk about your friend, I'm talking about the seam ripper. Okay. Um, everybody hates this item. Everybody. No one has pleasure in taking the seam ripper out. Okay. We always have it handy. Okay. We always have it handy and we have it in there. It came with your machine. There's a seam ripper in your SC1900. Okay. And you have it handy, but we never want to take it out. However, though, I always tell people this is your friend because when you make the mistakes, this is what you got to grab so that you can undo all those stitches so you can keep trying again. So, embrace this. Okay. So that is one thing that I always put in there. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is customer orders and having fear whenever you're getting customer orders. So if you're deciding to do embroidery as a business, okay, sometimes what happens is, well, not even sometimes, when you've made that decision, it's basically because you feel confident, you feel good about what you're doing, right? Because you've already tried embroidering and a lot of the things came out really, really nice. And you're like, oh my God, and then probably a lot of friends and family and even you probably look at stuff and you're like, man, I could sell this. I can make some money, right? So why not, right? So what ends up happening is your orders start to come in. And then people start ordering from you, right? You start your Etsy shop or you start to sell locally and all that kind of stuff. That first order, I don't care who you are and how good you think you are, you're going to be nervous. You're going to be nervous because it's your first customer. You want to do a good job. And then what happens is the anxiety is going to kick in. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but it was with me. Okay. Like I remember the first thing I did, and I was kind of like, oh my God. So, and then I was putting it in the machine, and I was like, 1,000 things that go through your head. What went through my head was, what if the machine eats up the fabric? Am I going to be able to replace this? What if I make a mistake? What if the customer doesn't like it? What if the customer decides not to pay me? Okay, well, that wouldn't happen because you guys know what I say, money up front. No money, no machine. And payment in full, not half. I don't do half. I want full. For the simple fact that I remember someone reached out to me. They were very, very upset because they took half the payment. They did the job. They had no issues with the job, came out good. The person showed up, said, oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was the full payment. I didn't agree to pay that. So next thing you know, that person only got paid half. So they were of course, rightfully so, they were very upset. And they called me to talk about it. And I did a video about that, I think about a year ago. And one of my advice was, you always take full payment up front. Think of it this way. When you buy something online, right? And it's personalized, right? Let's say you go to Visa Print and you say, I want to order these business cards, right? Well, you customize it, you put the information that you want on the business cards. Well, you don't pay Visa Print half, you pay the whole thing. Same thing like when you go to Etsy and you buy something and it's customized, right? You put in your personalization and everything. You don't pay 50%, you pay the whole thing. Then the item comes in the mail. So I treat my local sales the exact same way. And I even put that on the invoice, okay? I put it on the invoice. Every time the customer reaches out, I always tell them, okay, they ask, what can you do this? Can you embroider this? Sometimes I'll go back and forth with them. I ask them to send me a picture of what it is that they want me to embroider. And then, I ask them what type of fabric it is. It sometimes, and then if I know that it's okay, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I tell them, this is how much it's going to cost. Are you okay with the price? They say yes. I said, okay, I need your email address because I need to send you an invoice. So when I send them the invoice, I actually put in there when item will be processed when payment is received in full. That's what I put. I don't have any discussions or anything like that. You paid in full. And I tell them, you can pay me by Vino. You can pay me by cash or check when you drop off the item. Okay. You can send me the money through Zelle. There's all these ways. But I don't do half. I won't do it. Okay, because of what happened to that lady. Okay, and let me tell you something, people are shady. You'd be surprised. A lot of times people smile in your face and they're shady. So you got to be careful, okay, because you got to know your worth. So don't let people hustle you, okay, because you work hard. So don't do that, okay. So customers' orders, getting that first customer order can be scary because that's the first time, right? So you're like, oh my God, am I going to invoice them correctly? Okay. You got to make sure that you understand what the customer wants you to do. So you got to make sure that you understand fully. Show them the thread, okay? And you're going to have all this interaction with them. You're going to show them the thread. You're going to make sure that they know what color thread they want. You're going to show them the design and all that kind of stuff. It's nerve-wracking, especially your first one. It's going to be nerve-wracking. You're going to be like, oh my God, oh my God. And it's all about expectations, okay? Because you want to make sure that the customer is aware of what they're going to get. And you want to make sure that when you're talking to the customer, you're getting their requirements. So it can be a very nerve-wracking time, especially when you're doing your first order, especially local, where you're dealing with the customer face-to-face, okay? But after your first order, and then your second order, and then your third, trust me, you're going to get through it. You're going to be like, oh, got this. Just like, after like now, it's like somebody reaches out. Hey, what do you need? Okay, what do you need? I tell them, let me see the picture. Okay. And it's smooth. It's smooth and easy. And if the people come out and they give me a little hassle about the price, I'm like, you can go somewhere else. It's okay. I'm like, because this I look at, I don't need the embroidery. You do. That's just how I see it. Okay. I know it sounds mean, and you're probably like, yeah, Jeanette, you're being mean. Well, yes and no. Okay. My thing is, I'm willing to help out somebody, but I'm not willing to cut my own nose trying to help another person. That's just how I look at it. I believe in being fair to all the parties involved. I don't like to be taken advantage of, and I'm very vocal and very direct and very upfront about that. Okay, I don't know if it's my demeanor or whatever. You can ask my sister because she sometimes me and her talk. She'd be like, "Damn, Jeanette, I mean, you like so like blah, But you know what? But you know where it came from. That's how I look at it. So it's just me. Okay, that's my personality. Some people's are very more passive, or they're not maybe as argumentative or something like that, or forceful. They're kind of shy and stuff like that. I'm more direct. I really am. Like if sometimes people will send me a picture and it looks okay, but I always tell the customer up front, I really need to see the fabric. I gotta feel it because sometimes what you see in a picture and what they bring to you can be two separate things. I'm not afraid to get something, look at it, and say, I can't embroider this, and I'll give them back their money and I'll tell them, I'm sorry, I can't. However, though, one of the things that I do when I do turn down a job, I explain to them why I turn it down, because I don't want people to feel bad, like, oh, she just doesn't like me. It has nothing to do with that. I want you to understand about embroidery. Not everything can be embroidered. Not everything is going to do well. Certain fabrics. Like I remember a lady, she had a lunchbox, beautiful lunchbox, okay? But through the picture, I couldn't tell the thickness of that lunchbox. I think the lunchbox had some kind of heavy padding inside of it. But the thing is, it was thick. Okay, so when you are embroidering, right, you have a bobbin thread, and then you have the top thread. If you read up on how the stitching works, the bobbin thread and the top thread has kind of like a little tug of war game going on, right? You have your bobbin thread, and then you have the top thread that kind of like goes around, right? So it's like making like a little loop. So I already could tell that the thickness of that fabric, okay, because I don't know what was between it, but it would not look right. And at the same time, I knew that it was going to be hard on the machine. It was going to be hard on the needle. I could get a lot of needle breaks. And it could really be a horror and, to embroider. So in those situations, when you're dealing with customers, just be upfront, be honest, okay? Because the last thing you want is a disappointment at the end. You don't want to take something and then all of a sudden you're trying and trying and trying, and it could not really be embroidered, and you had that hunch that it couldn't be embroidered, and then all of a sudden then the customer comes and then they're disappointed as well, and then next thing you know, you have a really bad situation, right? Because the last thing you want is for the customer to customers have a lot of power. They can talk about you, what I'm saying? They can, and you don't want your reputation to hit rock bottom because of that one person. Okay. So the fear of that first order, get over it. Okay. It's gonna happen. Accept it. Just know that up front. Just know how to handle it, and just take your time. And then as time goes on and you get more people, more customers, more orders, it's going to get golden. And before you know it, you got this. You're going to be like, oh, this was not bad. And you're going to think back at that one time that you got that first order and you were sweating bullets. Okay. So, the customer order fear, that's real. Okay. The other thing that I always tell people, well, not that I do tell people, but this is something that I do hear a lot that they say is very disappointing when they're embroidering, is the cost. Embroidering, and I said it lots of times in my videos before, very expensive. It is not for those that are very light in the wallet. That is for sure. Okay. A lot of times people think I buy a machine and I buy thread and I'm good to go. How wrong you are. That is not embroidery. I mean, you're going to have to invest. You're always constantly investing. The biggest investment is always the machine right up front. But then just as much as you spent on that machine, a lot of times there's debate on this. People say that the big expense is the machine. It could be in the beginning, but as time goes on, to me, the biggest expense is really on the supply end of things, okay? Because you don't see it as a big dollar, because that is an expense that I consider kind of creeps up on you. The expense of the threads. At first, you just buy a small one, right? You just go ahead and you just buy the pack, right? The 63 threads, right? The little box. And then you're starting with that. But as time goes on, you start to learn about different other types of thread. You got the pylon, you got the rayon, you got the metallic. Then you have the variety color thread. Okay, I call it the variety. I know this is something else, variegated or something like that. Y'all know my English is a mess, but it's the thread that has different colors on it. Okay, so anyway, there have so many different threads. Then it's not just the different types of thread, then you have different weights of thread. Okay, so depending on what you're going to embroider is going to determine what type of weight of thread you use. So a lot of times people say, oh, I bought the machine and now I feel like this is a never-ending expense. Well, yes, it is, and it's not going to stop. Okay, because you will always need thread, you will always need stabilizer, you will always need blanks. And if you're running an embroidery business, okay, it's not just that stuff that you're going to be spending money on. Okay, you're going to have to pay for software, okay, for embroidery software. Okay, we all start with the machine. Like when you get the small machine that I have down back here, when you have the SC 1900, it comes with some pre-designed some preloaded embroidery designs. Those are great for you to start out, but let's get real. How many butterflies can you embroider? How many of those designs can you reuse? Okay, then you start learning about all these different embroidery websites and all these different types of designs that are out there. Each design you can buy as low as maybe $1, and then there are some designs that I have even paid $26 for designs too. So they come in ranges. All right, and you're going to be spending money. You're just get it in your head that this is something that is not for the light of wallet. Okay, and depending on how serious you are of wanting to take this to whatever level you want, that is going to determine how much you're willing to invest in it. Okay, if this is just a hobby for you to do, like presents for friends and stuff like that, then I would say you're still going to have an expense, but it's probably not going to be as much. For me, it's a hobby, but it also is a business. Okay, and it actually has taken off. Like now, around where I live, I'm kind of like considered the embroidery lady. Okay, so every time around locally where I am, when somebody needs monograms, when somebody needs a golf bag, a golf towel, a jacket, swim jackets. Now, when somebody needs a baseball to be embroidered, okay, I mean, it's like right away I get texts and stuff, and I go, hey, I was referred to you. I'm looking for a backpack to get embroidered. I'm looking for a towel, a beach towel, you know, because they have swim teams around here too. So sometimes the kids, they have the swim teams, you know, they lose their towels all the time. Can you put their initials on the towels? Can you put their names on the towels? And I'm like, okay. So I have my Etsy shop, and it's doing really, really well. You know, and it's like this morning I woke up and I had like 6 orders, and I was like, I had to hustle and get all those 6 orders done. And at the same time I was doing those 6 orders, that I had local orders that came in, and then I got a cigar club that reached out to me, and I had to work on their towels. I have like 15 towels that I have to embroider for them. So I'm kind of like feeling it. Okay. So so that's another thing too. When you do this as a business and people start to get to know you, and they know how good you are, and you know, and they, you know, people that embroider, it's not a lot of people out there, okay, that do this. Okay. Embroidering can be very, very expensive. So a lot of times when people know they have someone that's local that can do it, it's like golden, because they're like, oh my God, I can just go to her, and I know it's a quick turnaround, and you know, she knows what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it really just helps. So honestly, if you're thinking about doing this as a business, I strongly recommend that not only that you do that online, but try to advertise it locally, because I'm telling you, that really does help a bunch. Okay. I get so many sales locally. I get more locally than I actually do in my Etsy shop, you know. So um it's pretty awesome. So, you know, try to put it on Facebook, on Marketplace. If you have like a community Facebook group, put the information on there. You know, and you know, just do like you know, like I know like where we live, they have like a swap and shop thing. So what I usually do is I'll say, hey, you know, anybody want golf towels? Because that's actually how I started. It was really my husband, because we have dinner and somebody, and the guys from the golf club, you know, I live in a golf community, so we were at the restaurant, and it was like, I guess there was a golfers event, right? And there was a whole bunch of people there golfing. And my husband was like, you know, you embroider golf towels. You have it on your Etsy shop. You know, I bet you these people around here would love a golf towel. So I was kind of like, really? I was like, okay, well, I put it on the Facebook group of my community. And then I just said, hey, if anyone's interested in getting a personalized golf towel, let me know. Well, I don't know why. That blew up. Okay. So it blew up. And next thing you know, I think I did like about over 80 orders of golf towels. All right. So now it's like everybody around this neighborhood, because a lot of them are golfers. If you need a golf towel, call Jeanette. You know, and I already have a whole bunch of designs for them and all that kind of stuff. And then from golf towels, I graduated to golf bags. Okay. So some of the golf bags, I don't take the actual golf bag and put it on the machine, but some of the golf bags, the pocket cover, the cover comes off. So now I'm embroidering golf bags for them too. So you would be surprised the customers that you can get from locally, from where you live. Okay. It's just putting your name out there. Once you put your name out there and you show samples of some of the stuff that you do, it'll work. Trust me, it'll work. So that is another disappointment that a lot of times people have when it comes to embroidery, is that they get into it and stuff like that, and then they go, man, I'm not getting a lot of sales. It comes in time. Okay. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for several years now. And every year my sales have increased, both online and locally. It just boomed. Okay. But locally it was because I was kind of like to myself, you know. And it was really my husband that actually pushed me and said, put it out there and see. And then I put it out there, and before you know it, I did a couple of the golf towels, and then the ladies that had bought them from me were talking to me, and they go, "Oh, I didn't know you did embroidery. You're right in the neighborhood." And they were like, "Do you do this? Do you do that?" And before you know it, I was embroidering not just golf towels and golf bags, even dinner napkins. Okay, because when Thanksgiving and Christmas comes, especially when the COVID hit, a lot of people weren't going to restaurants to eat or anything like that. A lot of families were having dinners at home, so they wanted to dress up their dinner table, right? So before you know it, orders for dinner napkins all over the place, orders for kitchen towels and stuff like that. So really think about local stuff. If some of you guys have grandkids also, embroider them a shirt, because I know a lot of you guys like doing the birthday shirts, right? So if you like doing the birthday shirts and all that kind of stuff, make them for your kids, make them for your kids, make them for your grandkids and stuff like that. And have them wear it to school, embroider their school bag, embroider their lunch bag, have them take it to school and stuff like that. And then have them show their friends. Before you know it, boom, there you go. You're golden. Next thing you know, everybody's gonna start, "Oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?" "Oh, it's from that lady right over there," or that guy, because embroidery is done by guys and girls. So there's something to think about. Okay. So a lot of times, a lot of people get disappointed with the customer orders. We're not getting enough, and they get scared. Okay. I know somebody reached out to me once, and they were like, "Well, how you do it?" It's like, because I still work full time too. Okay, I'm not retired yet. I got like 3 years, 10 months, and 4 days. Not that I'm counting, but I still have time. I'm not there yet. I'm still working full time. I'm also running the business, and and then I got my channel, because I do the channel because I actually like doing this. Okay. And I like teaching people and stuff like that. And you can do this. You just have to make sure that you organize your time right. Make sure that you have your time slots, okay, when you can do certain things, so that way you can, just do your thing. Okay. um okay, let me see. I covered customers orders. The first one, you're going to have fear. The cost, it can be expensive, and that can really turn off a lot of people. A lot of people come out, they say, "God, it can get really, really expensive." Yes, it can. But also, going about cost, because you guys know I'm a penny pincher. Okay. I told you guys about getting discount gift cards. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because you're new or whatever, I want you guys to look at my channel. There's one where I said how to get a Cricut machine for a lot less. Use those techniques. Okay. Use your coupons. Search, when you need to find something, search for it. Okay. Don't just go to one store. Just don't go to Amazon. Go to Joann's, go to Hobby Lobby. Look around. Okay. Go to Marketplace. Sometimes Facebook Marketplace, some people just don't want to do embroidery anymore, and they're selling their stuff. They're selling their machines, they're selling their thread. I bought a lot of fabric from one lady in Fairfax where she just didn't want to quilt anymore. She was selling all her fabrics, nice fabrics, $4 a yard. And I was like, "Ooh, that's cheap, $4 a yard." Because Joann's, you usually pay more than $4 a yard. You pay like $6.99, $5.99. I went to her house, and I went down to the basement and stuff, and she opened up all her cabinets. Oh my God. I was like, all that fabric. And I only had like, $20 with me. I said, "I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bank." So I bought a whole bunch of fabric from her. And then I went back to the bank, got more money, and then came back. So you would be surprised at some of the things that you can find on yard sales and all that kind of stuff and everything. So all I'm saying is, um, be smart. Try to find how to find your bobbins cheaper, how to find seam rippers cheaper, supplies and all that kind of stuff. There are ways out there. What I'm saying? Make people fight for your dollar. What I'm saying? Don't just, say, "Okay, that's how much it is. All right," and buy it. No, challenge it. Look for how you can get it cheaper. Okay. The other thing where a lot of people have issues with too is customer interaction and communicating with your customer. Okay. And this goes mostly for local sales. Even though, don't think that because you're selling something online that there's not going to be any type of interaction or communication with customers, because you do. So no matter what, whether you're selling online or you're selling locally, you're going to have to have interactions with the customers. Okay. There are some situations where you can have something online where it's either buy it as is or you don't buy it at all, right? In those situations, I say you have very limited interaction with the customer, okay? Because what it is they look at your listing, they want it, they buy it, and they pay for it. And the next thing you know, you just make it and send it. However, though, there is some type of interaction in there. It's just not a communication type between you and the customer. And what I mean by that is the representation of the product. Okay. When someone buys something from you, there is a level of expectation. Okay. They see the pictures that you put out there and they already kind of in their mind know what they're going to get. Okay. You have to make sure as a seller that what you are sending them is going to meet that expectation. When you are sending the product, and I did a live on this, one of the things that is really, really, really important is the product that you're sending out represents you and your company. Okay. So when you are packaging a product, you want to make sure that when it's delivered to a customer, that it looks good. Okay. That it looks professional, that, it's representative of you and your work. Okay. You don't want to take something, smack it together, and just ship it off. All right. With not even a thank you card or anything like that. You want it to be something that's inviting so that when the customer receives that product from you, they're not just impressed by what they bought from you, but they're actually impressed by the way it came to them. Okay. Because remember, there was a time, a video where I talked to you guys about customer service and a customer experience, two separate things. Okay. And the one thing that I always harp on, or well, I don't know, what I always emphasize on is about the customer experience. That is what stays with them. That is what's going to be ingrained, and that is exactly what's going to keep them coming to you. So when you have first time customers, those first time customers, you want them to be repeat customers. Okay. So when I have customers that actually keep coming to me, they come to me because they know that not only do I give them a great product, but I give them good service and I understand their need, and they feel good when they buy from me. Even if something goes a little complicated, they know I'm going to make it right. So it's like a level of trust that they kind of build with you. Okay. So a lot of times people have a hard time with that. Okay. You have to overcome that. Okay. That is something that is just about running a business. Okay. A lot of times when people say, oh, I want to be my own boss, well, you know what, it could be true, but only to a certain extent. Okay. What happens is when you get a regular job and you have a supervisor and stuff like that, they're your boss, right? So it's what they say goes or whatever, right? But when you run your own business, your boss is really your customers, okay? Because without them, you're not making any money. So, you do have to make sure that you have a good relationship with them, all right? And you have to make sure that how you communicate with them, how you gather the requirements, how you meet their expectations is to par. You want that customer to have a good experience with you, because that experience is what's not only going to keep them coming back, but also going to allow them to spread the word about you and what you do. Okay. So, customer communication is very, very important, you know, and, online, sometimes people buy things from Etsy, and sometimes I have customers that have questions. They say, hey, I like that towel, but I want you to customize it for it. You know, the communication is going to be verbal or it's going to be written. Okay, you want to make sure that when you write to them that you're pleasant, you're nice, you're understanding. You are trying to get as much detail of what the requirement is, and then you want to make sure that you meet their expectations. Sometimes I'll have customers that come to me and they'll say, hey, Jeanette, I like that design of the kitchen towel, but instead of that, I wanted to say this. So what I usually do is I'll go right in Brilliant. I'll create the towels with the different modifications that they need. I'll take a screenshot of it, and then I'll tell them, don't pay attention to the colors. Don't worry. I will cut the thread jumps and all that kind of stuff. Is this what you're looking for? You know what I'm saying? So you want to have that communication. It's really, really important. It can get nerve-wracking, okay? And at the same time, too, I don't want people to think that I'm saying customers are always right. Customers are not always right, okay? Sometimes you will come across some jerks, okay? There are jerks out there, all right? But what's really great about owning your own business is that when you come across a jerk, you don't have to take that order. Okay. Yeah. Is it lost money? Yeah. But you know what? To be honest though, I'd rather lose the money than lose my self-respect. That's how I kind of look at it, which is kind of like I don't hackle on price hackling, not my thing. Won't do it. Okay. I tell people this is a fair price. Okay. This is how much I can do it for. If you feel that you can get it done cheaper somewhere else, then I recommend you go somewhere else, because I am not going to do something so that I could feel like I got taken advantage of. Because when I put a price out there, it's fair to me and it's also fair to you. I'm not out to rob people, okay? But at the same time, I'm not out for you to rob me. So I'm very upfront and very direct about that, okay? So it is important that you try to maintain a very good relationship with your customer, but to me it is more important that you maintain your sanity, your own respect, and your own self-worth, because that is, to me, is more important. Okay, so I mean, yeah, we all need our bread and butter and we all got to eat and we all need some change on the side. But to me, it just depends what's important to you. I mean, some people just say, well, I'm just going to go for the money, and that's okay. If you're okay with it, then that's fine. But for me, I just don't. I won't do it. Okay. I have more things. What else did I put in here? Okay, we talked a little bit about making mistakes. Mistakes can be very disappointing, but my whole thing on the mistakes is I still make them. Last video I put out there made a big boo-boo. Okay, that pillow did not look pretty, but it's a learning experience. Okay, just look at it positive, a learning experience. Me, I learned that day, don't do things when you're tired. Okay, when you need a break, you need a break. Just take it. Okay, I know that day I wasn't feeling like myself, but for some reason I just pushed for the pillow because I just wanted to do something for me, but I wasn't in my zone. Okay, and when I mean zone is like you're like so focused on that. I had a lot of things going on. I had all these orders and I had to do some custom work, and it can get overwhelming. It really can. And sometimes you just got to say to yourself, I got to slow down. And sometimes you just got to say no. Like I do have a big order that came to me, and I was very upfront with the customer, and I told them, I said, I understand the order and stuff. I got it. How soon do you need this? Because I can't do this within 2 or 3 days. And the customer is very understanding. Goes, no, no, no. It doesn't have to be done right away. Can you have it by like 2 weeks? Oh, 2 weeks? No problem. Gotcha. Because I can breathe in 2 weeks. I can do 2 items per night, or break it up however, or even take one dedicated day to just work on that order. You know what I'm saying? So don't overwhelm yourself, because when you overwhelm yourself, you make a lot of mistakes, and that can be a very disappointing evening for you. Okay, because what ends up happening is everything you do doesn't work out. Okay. Let me see. And also overconfidence. don't get like cocky and overconfident. I've done it. Okay, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is not overconfident. Okay, I was like, done this plenty of time. It's not gonna go wrong. I'm just gonna stitch it out. Look what happened. Okay, so don't get too comfortable, and thinking that you know everything, and that everything's gonna go smooth. Stuff happens to all of us. It's gonna happen, and when it happens, it just happened. Just keep going. Okay, and stuff. I already talked about orders being overwhelming. You just gotta slow down. Okay. And this is my worst thing, rushing to the post office when you're talking about rushing orders. A lot of times I'll have like a whole bunch of orders that come in, and then what ends up happening is I'm trying to beat the clock. Okay. And I'm trying to beat the clock because I want to get in the car and I want to drive over to the post office and just deliver the items. Can't do that. Okay. To me, I have a cutoff point. After 3 o'clock, if the item is not done, it's not done, and it's just going to have to get mailed the next day. That's how I do it. I am not getting in the car, and I'm not going to go speeding around and going to the post office just to deliver it. There's a reason why I have my processing time in a certain way. It's because I know that I can exceed those expectations of that processing time. And if something happens and I just can't get it done in a day, then I have 2 or 3 days to get it done. And it'll get done when it gets done. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, something to show. Now, let me show you guys what I was doing for my friend. And because in the beginning I was talking about sublimation, right? I got this like love-hate thing with sublimation. All right, so I don't know how many of you guys know folks in or have family in the military and stuff like that. My husband is retired from the Air Force. He got 21 years in, and a lot of our friends, mostly because I work with the military, and my husband's retired military and stuff. So a lot of the people that we interact with, were in service. So when my husband was stationed in Germany, and I met him afterwards, I met him when he was retired from the military. Okay, because I didn't serve as a military wife. So anyway, but he has a lot of mugs that are very similar to this. And he was stationed in Stuttgart, I think it's Stuttgart, Germany. And the Air Force is really big, and it's not just the Air Force, the Army, all of them. A lot of them are big on beer mugs, okay? And what they do is, my husband has some where it has the symbol of where he was stationed at and the year and all that kind of stuff. So this is like huge thing for military folks. They love this stuff. So anyway, I have a very good friend of mine, and like I said, he's retiring from the Army, and I wanted to do a mug for him with all the symbols of where he served throughout his whole military career, right? So I met with his wife, and me and her sat there. We went through his whole military record, where he was stationed, all that kind of stuff. And I got the design down pack, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to put it on the mug, right? Now, this is what I hate about sublimation. Okay. Now, first of all, this is a 22-ounce mug. Okay. And the thing is, they have those mug presses. They do not have a mug press for these mugs. I have been calling all over the place, cannot find one, which kind of like, I'm kind of like, really? So in order to do these mugs, you have to do them in an oven. So I went to Walmart because I'm not going to cook this kind of stuff in my home oven where we actually cook food. So what I did, I went to Walmart and I bought a huge extra large oven, right? And I put it on the kitchen counter, and put the right settings and all that kind of stuff. And I was able to do this for my neighbor, but I'm going to tell you something. These things cost money. They are not cheap. These are not cheap blanks at all. And every time you mess up a blank, guess where it goes? In the garbage. Okay? It's not like you can redo it. Now, I did see a video where people were saying how you can get rid of all this ink. Okay, but the thing is, it's not a method where all the ink comes off. What it does is it kind of lightens the ink up so that if you have a darker pattern, you can then put it on top of it. With this, it's not going to work. But I wanted to show you what happened. This is what I'm talking about, the sublimation. Now, if you look at here, okay, and I don't know if you can tell, but it looks okay. It's not bad. Okay, this is not that bad at all. However, though, if you look right here, I don't know if you can tell, you can see there's a little bit of yellow. Okay, so how that ink, there you go. You see it? I don't know if you see it right there. How that ink turned yellow, I don't know. I don't know if it came from the heat. There you go. You see it? Let me see if I can show you right here. See? If you look right here, see? There's yellow right there. I don't know if that came from the tape or what, okay? So that kind of like, I was like, great, okay? Then I turned it around and look at this. This is obvious, okay? Little blurry here. It's not too solid looking here, okay? Here looks blurry at the bottom. This looks kind of blurry. Doesn't look solid. And then if you look on here, this is blurry as well. See the little blue right here? Yeah. So this was a bust. This is a bust. This was not the clean image that I wanted. And I want to make this one so bad. So anyway, but I do have a mug press for a coffee mug. So what I did do was I did a coffee mug. Now, this is another coffee mug that I did with the mug press, and I was trying to see it. Why this happened, I don't know. I don't know if you can tell, because here I go again trying to do this, because he likes beer, right? So, but this is really a coffee mug. But I was like, well, he could pour the beer in here. But anyway, there is specks of dirt in here. Don't know if you guys can see. See all that? That should not be there. So I don't know why that happened, okay? And then if you look on the front here, look at that. See, these you can see. See, look at all this. See the dirt right here was kind of like ink. Not good. Okay. So anyway, I was going to throw these out. But one of the things that my husband told me was, he said, no, don't throw it out, because, he said, just keep trying. Because I do have these mugs. I have about I think I have 3 left, something like that. So I guess what I'll do is my husband's right. He said, give it to him because he may want it on his desk, and he can put pens and pencils in there or something like that and stuff. And the same thing with the coffee mug. It's just to drink coffee. The mug is still good. I mean, he may just wanted to have it at home. So I was able to finally get this done the right way. So I do have one coffee mug for him like this. I am going to get up early in the morning because his retirement party's tomorrow. So I am going to get up early in the morning, and I am going to attempt to see if I can actually accomplish this looking good for him. Because I really, really know that this is something that he would die for. He would be like, oh my God. And then to turn it around and see all the office symbols of where he served throughout his whole military career, I know this would be with his retirement date, this would be like yeah, he would love it, because it is so unique. So this is something that I know military folks are really big in. I know my husband has like a whole collection of mugs from his years in the Air Force. and of all the, but every single mug is from a different place of where he served, right? So one of the things my husband, when he saw that I was doing this, my husband was like, wait a minute, I want one, so now I have to look for one, so that if I could get this done, then I guess I'm gonna have to do one for Fred, and I'll probably do, Department of the Air Force in the front, and then I'll just have all the places that Fred had been to, and then maybe do the start year and end year of his military service and stuff. So anyway, guys, let me see. I'm gonna go through the chat because I know I talked a lot. And I want to say hi to everybody and stuff. And I also want to answer any questions and stuff like that for you guys and stuff. Hey, Marlene, how are you? Oh, rained out. Okay. Oh, Memorial Day, Daytona Beach. Well, let me tell you, Marlene, it is raining here. And I hope it stops raining because we have his retirement party. It's supposed to be an outdoor event. So I hope it stops raining for tomorrow and stuff. Hey, Trisha, how you doing? Hey, Norma. I see Cheryl, Annette. Hey, Susan. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Jill. I see Jean and Iris and Debbie. Amber, how are you? Hey, Lynette. Hey, Barbara, how are you? Hey, Evemar. Hey, Miss Banks, how are you doing? Hey, Alice. Hey, Irma. Miss Max. Hey, Miss B Pops, how are you? I just picked up a cutter up from Amazon. The only one they had was corded one. I wish I could find one without their cord. Oh, are you talking about, Miss B Pops? Are you talking about the Peggy Stitch Eraser? I have them both. I have the corded and I have the wireless one. And I have to be honest, I use them both because sometimes the wireless one, the cordless one, I keep saying wireless, the cordless one is sometimes the battery. I feel that kind of like the battery kind of dies down sometimes, right? So when you use the one that's corded, you got the battery going. I mean, well, it's not battery, but you plug it in and it's going all the time. So, sometimes I think the cordless one is a little overrated and stuff because I always have to recharge it and stuff. So if I were you, I would embrace the one with the cord. Just saying, Let me see. Where are we? Hey, pretty eyes. Hey, Debbie. I saw that video. Yeah. Yeah, I guess with this, yeah, this was and let me tell you, this took me 2 days to undo, but as you can see, it looks awesome. So I'm ready to give it another shot, and stuff. Hey Ozzy, how you doing? Let's see. Hey Stephanie. I've heard the peanut clipper is comparable, but have not been able to find them. Oh, I got frustrated. I left the project on the machine. Dolly Embroidery. I never heard of Dolly Embroidery. I don't know what that is. Sally, oh, the trimmer looks just like the piggy eraser. Hey, and you know what, guys? I'm serious. If a trimmer works the same as a peggy, I mean, go for the cheaper one. That's how. All you need is to have the capability to snip the bobbin thread. That's all it is. It's just snipping that bobbin thread in behind the thing. If you can do that, then it will release all of the thread on top. So, does anyone know of a good website to buy blank? Yes, I do, Angela. Cotton Craft. Cotton Craft is the one that I use. And stuff. If you don't know, I can send you the link for it. But I do have it on my Amazon storefront. Those are great for embroidery. Those are the ones that I use. Hey Luna, how are you? Hey Crafty Puerto Rican, how you doing? Hey Maria. I ordered some towels from Amazon. Supposed to be here tomorrow. I have the Peggy Stitch eraser. Does a beautiful job. You're so right. Jeanette, it's best to be comfortable and careful and try. Yes. And you can't rush it. And that's exactly what I did. At first when I made a mistake, I got frustrated, Jill, and I was kind of like, okay, I just want to get rid of it. But then I had to put it aside, and then the next day I just came back to it. I just laid it flat on the table, and while I was just listening to the trial case and stuff, I was just unstitching it. And just do sections at a time. Don't just go crazy and stuff, because as you guys saw in the video, I did a lot of embroidering before I ended up finding out I messed up big. Okay, so just do sections at a time. Take your time, because you don't want to accidentally cut the thread. I mean the fabric. You want to cut the thread. You just don't want to cut your fabric, because once you create a hole, you kind of like messed it up. But even if you make a hole, you really sometimes didn't mess it up, because you can always put a patch over it. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a creative way to fix something, so you just can't give up and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Motherland moms, how are you? It is a constant learning process. It is. And you're always going to be learning. And there's always something new. Always. Question. My son wants me to embroider a t-shirt with a peace sign, 7 different rows of color. Looks like a ton of stitches, but I think it would be too much for a tee. Miss Max, if what I would do is there's lots of different types of tees out there. It doesn't have to be that tee, I'm sure you can probably find a tee with a stronger fabric. If not, then what I would do is see if you can find a design that's a little bit similar to what he wants, but that it is not as dense of a design. But if it has to be that t-shirt and it has to be that design, then what I would do is double up on the stabilizer. That's what I would do. Also, Miss Max, another thing that you may want to look at is if you have in Brilliant and you have the density repair kit, take the design, put it in Brilliance, run the density repair kit and see if it eliminates some of the stitches. Okay, I'm sure you have seen me do that in some of the videos. A lot of times when I buy designs, I don't use them straight off the bat, because sometimes the digitizers, even though they did a beautiful job in digitizing those designs, sometimes they have a lot of overlapping stitches that kind of makes the design a little bit more dense than it really should be. So the density repair kit will help to get rid of any type of unnecessary stitches. And you'll notice that sometimes you can end up decreasing the stitch amount in that design by even like sometimes 1,000 stitches. So that may be another thing that you may want to look at. Okay, so some ideas and stuff. Hey Iris, when you embroider on a napkin, do you use a special needle and thread? Okay, Iris, depending on the design. Okay, if I am doing like just a frame and one initial, I use a 40 weight thread. I don't use a 60, unless the initial is very small font. If it's very, very small font, then you do want to use a 60 weight thread, and you want to use a needle size of a 65/9. Okay, but if you just have one initial and the initial is probably an inch, right, and then you just have a border, then what I usually do is I just use a 75/11 sharp needle, and I use a 40 weight thread for that. Okay, so yeah, that's what I do for that. Hey Angela, how you doing? The seam ripper is your friend. Yes, it is. In my eyes, they are the enemy. Yes. And you know what? There are a lot of seam rippers out there. They got some nice ones with some really cute handles and stuff like that. Invest in a good one. I mean, the Brother SC1900 comes one. It's okay. I mean, it works. But they do have ones that have like these kind of handles that are a little more comfortable in there. So when you go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby or something like that, they are pretty inexpensive. So just pick one up, see, feel it in your hand. If it feels good and stuff like that, then invest in it. And these things do go dull too. They get dull. So don't think that you buy one and you're good to go for the rest of your life. It's not like that. Okay. These things get dull, and thankfully they aren't too expensive. So you should replace them every so often. Okay. And stuff, because you know, like everything else, you know, like needles get dull. Well, seam rippers get dull also. Okay. So, let's see. Angela the Ripper. Since I began sewing, it is. It saves you, because what happens is you make the mistakes, and next thing you know, if it wasn't for the steam rip the seam, I keep saying seam ripper, you would be throwing out a lot of fabric and stuff like that. So it does help you. It's okay to embroider on the t-shirt. So it's double up on the stabilizer. There you go. Yep, just like I said. Yep. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Angela. Hey, Ladybird. How are you? Trying a piece of fabric first. I'm a chicken. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You know what, Miss Max? It's not the only t-shirt in the world. I'm sure you can get another one. So don't be scared. You know, always cash up front. You got that right. Juanita got that right, well, because I'm like, no money, no machine. Machine don't turn on. And stuff. I do not play that and stuff. It's not being mean, it's being real. I know, Iris, but you know how people are. They'll be like, oh, she mean, you know. It's not that. I am upfront, honest, I'm direct. Okay. That way you know exactly where I'm coming from. There is no misunderstanding, you know. And you don't have to be mean when you're telling people, you know, what the expectations are and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's not like I'm nasty about it and stuff like that, but I just tell them upfront, you know, and that's it. I mean, I feel that when you do that, it just really saves it kind of like it prevents more, it promotes more drama. And that's the thing. I'm not into the drama thing. I really don't, you know. Let me see. It definitely doesn't sound mean. You're absolutely correct. If I had that happen to me, sewing gown, I had that happen to me sewing a gown for someone. Yeah, and see, and that's the thing. Yeah, that's why I'm like, no. The whole payment got to come up front, not no 50% or anything like that. Because when you order something online, you don't pay them 50%. You sure ain't gonna do it to me. That's just how I look at it. I'm like, nope. Let me see. Wouldn't that ruin the integrity of the lunchbox? See, the thing is, Iris, the some, you know, the other lunch boxes that the lady bought, the kind of fabric, I saw that it would be good. But yes, I felt that because I don't know if it was gel or what was inside. All I know that it was too thick. And yeah, I think it would have really messed up the lunchbox. I did not want to chance that, because and then she would be disappointed, and then I would be disappointed, especially if it messed up my machine or something like that. You know, and you got to be careful too. Also, one of the things that I always think about is like when needles break. You know, sometimes needles, when they break, they can really split, you know, and you don't know if it can jump at you and stuff like that. So always be careful. You know, it's always best to wear glasses. I do wear my glasses when I'm sewing and stuff like that, because I'm always afraid that if something pops out, it could hit you in the eye or something like that. So, you know, always, you know, I just didn't want to take a chance with the lunchbox. It just kind of looked like, I didn't want to do it and stuff. Hey, Nana, how you doing? Um, Hey, Susan, when you bill someone for a purchase, do you bill through PayPal? Okay, Susan, I use QuickBooks, and in QuickBooks you can do invoices. So what I usually do is I do the invoices. Now in QuickBooks you can activate for them to pay using credit card through QuickBooks, but I don't do that. What I do is on my invoice, I actually put down directions, and I tell them you can pay through PayPal, and this is my email address where you can send the money, or if you want to send the money through Zelle, or if you want to use Vino, this is my Vino ID. and my code, so they can send me the money through Vino if they want. So that's how I do it. Now, PayPal does have the ability for you to create invoices through PayPal too, if you want to use them. So, I have done it both ways, because before I started using QuickBooks, and I was selling t-shirts, I was using PayPal. Okay, so you can do it both ways. Okay, so yes, but right now I'm using QuickBooks, and I like the QuickBooks because QuickBooks helps me to track all my expenses, all my business expenses and everything. So that's why I like to do that. Um, let me see. My first machine was a surprise gift from my husband. He said it was a gift that kept costing, and and it is true. And you know what's so funny is, I just recently, for Mother's Day, I gifted my sister the SE 1900. I mean, she has been wanting to learn embroidery for quite some time, and I don't know if you guys have ever watched her channel. She has a channel called Gifts HQ, and she has been doing a lot of sewing and quilting, and that has been her thing. And I do more on the embroidery side. She always wanted to try it. And she's been looking to get an SE 1900, but it's very, very expensive. And I figured, what the heck, let me just go ahead and get it for her. So I bought the SE 1900. I surprised her with it, and now she's embroidering everything. Okay, and one of the things that I kind of laugh is, she's always like reaching out to me. Oh, what stabilizer do I need? So she's buying stabilizer now. She's buying thread and all that kind of stuff. And talk about gifts. She just recently sent me this, and I was kind of like, oh, so this is an antique embroidery kit that she purchased, and I think this is more for people that do hand embroidery. And it comes with different sets, and it came with like scissors, and these are really cute scissors, and I'm like, oh my god, really cute. And it comes with this other embroidery scissors. I really like the color. And let me show you what else. It came in this little box. Nancy sent this, and it comes with a little thumbler, which I thought was cute. But I think this is more for hand embroidery, which I actually want to do. I want to do some hand embroidery because I thought that was kind of fun. And let me show you what else. I was wondering, I actually had to Google to see what are some of these pieces. Okay, this is like a little wheel, and what it is that they take the thread, the embroidery thread, and you wind it up here in this thing right here. So I thought this was pretty cool. Okay, this for machine embroidery you wouldn't use, but for hand embroidery you do. And then I saw this thing right here, and this is where you put your needles. So I guess in hand embroidery, there's different sizes of needles, I guess. And this opens up. There you go. And you put your needles in here. So I thought this was really cute. I was like, oh, what a cute set she got me. And then it also came with this. And I'm assuming this is to help lift the thread, I guess. I don't know. So I was even thinking I could use this for machine embroidery, if I have to like cut jump stitches, this would be perfect for that. And then this I found kind of funny. I think this is to feed your needle threader. So it's a cute little kit, a little kit. And I know she got it for me because, I got her the machine. She didn't have to, though. I got her the machine because I wanted to get her the machine because I know she wanted, she's been struggling. And, one of the things that really shocked me is she's in Miami, right? She's in Miami, Florida. And I was telling her, go to a sewing shop in Miami, Florida. And she was like, there are none. And I'm like, what do you mean they are none, right? And I'm over here thinking, you're just not looking in the right place. I started searching, and she's correct. I mean, there is hardly no sewing shops. There's lots of stores that sell fabric. There are no stores that sell the actual sewing machines. Like, I was like, well, look at the Brother website and search and see where there's a Brother dealer. So that way you can see because she was asking me questions about the multi-needle machines and the SC 1900. And I was like, okay, well, and then she's concerned about where would I get it repaired and all that kind of stuff and everything. And there is nothing. So I was kind of like really shocked. I was like, wow. So there's a lot of places out there that don't have it, which That's why I said, let me get her the machine, because I figured if there are hardly no machines out there, that means there's probably a big need for people that do embroidery, and my nephew participates a lot in the Special Olympics because he's autistic. And I was telling her, I said, there's so many things you can do for them. Like, you can embroider their towels, you can do so many things, to help them out, because she's very heavily involved in that. And I just was like, you could do embroidery in your neighborhood, because if there's hardly no machines available in that area where you live, that means that if they end up finding out that you can embroider and you have the machinery, oh, you'll probably be in a very good place. But yeah, so she's trying to discover embroidery right now, and I got to tell you, and I think she's a little addicted now. So I'm kind of like, ooh, I think I started something. So yeah, Michelle, it is the gift that keeps costing, because I'm sure that's probably what her husband's thinking right now. Like, oh, great. So Jeanette got her that machine, and now I got to get her a thread, I got to get her a stabilizer and all that other stuff. So I think now he's paying the rest of the bill. You get nice tax returns. You do when you have a business. There's a lot of tax write-offs on all of your expenses and all that kind of stuff. The cost of the machine, the cost of the threads, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that does help you with the taxes and stuff. Thread stabilizers, sample fabrics, blanks, and so. Yep. Hey, Jen, I'm watching and listening, and also working on a big polo shirt order with bib. Oh, vinyl. You go, Karen. All the dang busted designs and software. Yep. Hey, Kitsakita, how are you? Got a nice tax return from my state as a new business on no complaints here. Yeah, and that is another thing too. When you own your own business and stuff, you get to write off a lot of things. You write off the machines, you write off the equipment, you write off blanks. You even write off the mileage on your card whenever you're going to the post office, whenever you're going to Joann's, whenever you're getting fabrics, blanks, or anything like that. All that mileage is a tax write off. Okay. So, just got to make sure you keep receipts and that you keep track of everything. Okay. Um, hey, Tiana. Hey, Karen. Taxes scare me to death. Don't be scared of the taxes. Don't. Um, How do you advertise locally? Hey, Juanita. One of the things that I did was Facebook. Okay, Facebook is, if you have a community website, um, take some of your items that you sell on the Etsy, right, and then put them in some of the community web groups that are in Facebook that are locally by you, and say, hey, I'm offering personalized shirts, or I know you did some winter hats and stuff like that. When the winter comes, the school's starting and everything, put your hats out there and say, hey, embroidered personalized hats for kids, or shirts for kids and stuff like that. Put them on the community website and say, hey, send me a PM if you're interested and stuff. Another thing you can do also is, I know a lot of folks like to do the personalization with the shirts and stuff. Don't put a child's name on it. Just do the design. Do the design and stuff. Like back to school, just say, hey, I'm going to kindergarten, or I'm going to first, or entering first grade, second grade. You don't have to put a name on it, right? And then what you can do is you could just, how everybody does it, that they just cut the fabric and then they go ahead and they make the design, right? So you don't waste a shirt. Cut the fabric, put the design out there, put it on a yard sale, and then say various sizes available. Okay. And then if you get an order, then you say, okay, what size do you need? Right, and then say, okay, here's the invoice or whatever and stuff. Or if they tell you a size, remember, you're not putting a name on it, right? So if you're not putting a name on it, you can tell the person, okay, you can come pick it up, embroider it, and then you have it, right? And then when the customer comes, they pay you cash, they get their shirt, and you didn't have to put a name on it and stuff. Because the thing is, if the customer doesn't show up to get the shirt, it's not a loss. You still have the shirt, and you can always put a name later. Just because you didn't, you embroidered it now, you can always embroider a child's name later. you know, or you can sell it as is to someone else. You know what I'm saying? It's just something to think about and stuff. You know, you just try new things. Oh, I think I skipped a little too fast up here. Let's see. Keep up with your sales and expenses, least monthly by year, and you'll be fine. Yes, Miss Max is right. What I usually do is I have administrative day Friday. So when I get up in the morning on Fridays, okay, that is I spend 2 hours, and that is to look at what I did this past week, how much driving, how much things I bought, and everything like that. So I have administrative day Friday. I find that if you keep track of all your stuff on a weekly basis, you are good. Okay. I don't like waiting too long for the simple fact that you can forget these little small purchases that you made. And you can also forget about all these different trips that you made to the store and all that kind of stuff. You want to do your administrative stuff as things are fresh in your mind. Okay. So I always, like I say, pick a day of the week where you can just sit in front of QuickBooks or whatever software you're using, and you can keep track of all your expenses and everything for the whole week. If you do it that way, you're not in front of the computer for hours. Okay. What you're doing is you're probably going to be there at most maybe a half hour to an hour, and then you're done. And then at the end of the year, everything is so easy because you already did all the work. You did all the work up front, and you were religious about it. You went every that particular time. That was your administrative time. So that's how I do it. Okay. Um, let's see, craft fairs. Craft fairs. I have not tried craft fairs. Um, but I have thought about it. I have thought about it. Michelle, sometimes though, I noticed that when I went to some craft fairs, like I remember there's one called Sugar Loaf, something like that, Sugar Loaf or something, and they had a Christmas craft fair, and then I went over there. I thought I was going to see a whole bunch of different Christmas decors and stuff like that in the theme of Christmas. But then when I went to the craft fair, I saw people were selling stuff that was everything but Christmas, and they were selling. It looked like a yard sale more than a craft show. I don't know. It looked like people were selling, like, I don't know. It was just disappointing. I was just like, I thought to myself, because I asked people are like, oh, it's great. You got to go. Then when I went, I was like, maybe I just went in a bad year. It could be that too. It could be that I went in a bad year, but I am going to go again and stuff. Let me see. My machine embroidery is only a hobby for me. I really need to spend more time actually doing the embroidery. Hey, Sazzy. Yeah, and my embroidery started as a hobby too. But when it becomes a business, actually, is when you're doing it as a hobby, you do it for your friends, your family, and stuff like that. But then sometimes as time goes on, what happens is someone's going to find out about you, and then they're going to want you to do embroidery for them. And the thing is, you're at that point, you're going to have to make the decision of whether you want to do a business or something like that, or just do a little side hustle or something, because the next thing you know, you're doing embroidery for everybody, and then you're doing it for free. And you got to remember, embroidery costs money. It's your time, it's your supplies, it's your thread, and all those supplies and threads that you're using to do embroidery, that is money that's coming out of your pocket. It's not coming out of theirs. So even the way I see it is, you got to have the money coming in. If not, then you're doing everything for free for people. And then at the end, you're the one that's kind of like losing out. So it's just something, I'm not saying you have to do a business or whatever, but it's just something to, just think about. Okay. Because I mean, when you do embroidery for other people, I think it's great. I do it sometimes as a gift as well. But the thing is you have to sometimes be conscientious of that, because that is your time, and supplies are not cheap. So just something to think about and stuff. um Keep surfing the internet, thousands of yeah, and there's so many designs, and that's the thing too. There's so many designs out there. Hey, Black Doll, how are you? Do you mind telling me, where'd you get the laptop base and mouse holder from? Laptop base and mouse holder front. Laptop base. Are you talking about this that I use? This is where I put my laptop on. Black doll. Amazon. And this is called Rain Design M stand. If this is what you're talking about, because this is where I actually put my laptop on. Okay. Now I do also have a glass riser. It's like a little shelf where I put my iMac on, the monitor of my iMac. But I hope that answered your question. If not, reach out to me. I'll let you know. Do you have any more blank heirloom? They are coming, Black Dog. They are coming. And since you mentioned the heirloom blankets, I now have. They just came in. Literally, I have heirloom blank pillows. They also have the pillows that you can. So you can actually do the set. You can embroider the pillow. You can embroider the blanket. I have not put those on Etsy yet. I will be putting them on Etsy soon. So that way, if you guys are interested in getting the blanks of the heirloom pillows, you can. But I do have on order more of the heirloom blankets. So as soon as I get them in, I will put it out there on, and I'll even put it on our Facebook group so you guys know that I got the blanks in, and you guys can order if you want. Okay. Where's Mellow Yelpo? Hey, Angela. He is, I think he went with Daddy. I don't know. I think he probably went with Daddy to go over there to sleep and stuff. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Jeanette, do you wipe before you wrap? No, I did not. Was it? You know what? I think I was supposed to do that. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I think I was supposed to do that, wasn't I? All right, maybe that explains the dirt. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to give it another shot. And see, But I'm telling you, sublimation is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. But I really hate that it's so unforgiving. It's like, because what do you do with this? After it's with embroidery, you have this, right? So you can fix a mistake. But when it comes to sublimation, okay, you really can't fix that. I mean, I saw a video where some people were saying you can unsub a product. But what it is they leave it in the oven so that the ink can kind of bake off. But like I was saying, it just makes it lighter so that if you have a darker design, you can put it on top. It's not a perfect solution, but it's something, right? You can do something with it. But I don't know. But I am going to try to do the beer mug again, because the beer mug, I really know that it would be something special and that he would love. I mean, so I really do want to get that for him. And I can do it because I did it once. I did it for my neighbor across the street. And, I know I can do it again. I just have to spend the time doing it and stuff. Broke my ceramic, glued it back together, and planted a house plant on it. Cover more damage. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to want to do this for a plant, though. He'll probably use it for pencils or something like that. My husband makes, let me see. Hey, Judy, how you doing? Let's see. New to your channel. I have been binge watching your videos. Where you been? Oh my God, I have so many questions. Love your channel. You're asleep. Oh, thank you, Judy. I appreciate it. And, join the Facebook group that we have, Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures. Questions, throw them in there. If I can't answer them, everybody there is real super friendly and helpful. And we always help each other out. And so, hey, Karen, husband makes them on a latte. They are beautiful. Seam ripper on one end, Stella on the other. Hey, Harmony, how you doing? Let's see. Been hanging out on TikTok. Good platform for business. I did really well this month. You go, girl. I need to get into that TikTok thing. I'm going to have to tell my son to show me how to do that. And so, those scissors are really cute. Oh, thank you. That's a Good addiction. Very nice sister. Well, she's a cool sister too. She gets on my nerves sometimes. But hey, that's what sisters do, right? And stuff. So, posted my first embroidery project I made for myself on Facebook, and I had business immediately. Everybody wanted it. Well, embroidery. I mean, how Harmony, you do good work though. I mean, and what's funny is you're a perfectionist too. I mean, you really pay attention to detail and stuff. And I'm kind of the same and stuff when it comes to the stuff that I do, especially like my kitchen towels and my dinner napkins and stuff like that. They got to be on it, and stuff. No black laptop case. No, the black laptop and the holder that you were embroidering. Oh, that okay. Yes, I get that off of Amazon. And I did. If you look at that video again, look through the comments and you'll see the Amazon link to that. Okay. That laptop case, I really do like Black Dot because I had tried other brands, right? And they, you don't want the laptop case to feel cheap, And I tried these other brands and they were like really, really cheap feeling, like they weren't good. But it's like it's an M. It starts with the letter M. But look at the comments, and if you don't see it, shoot me a message or put it on the Facebook, and I will put the link there. Okay. And stuff. Yeah, Harmony's making it big. I'm on another 30-day Facebook ban. And I miss posting in the group. I'm always banned. Harmony, you're funny. You get kicked out. I have not gotten kicked out yet. Have not. But you never know, and stuff. So anyway, guys, it is past the hour as always. I think I have been on an hour. So is it hour 41 minutes and stuff. And I see we got 84 people live, which is awesome and stuff. And I am going to go because yeah, I really want to get this done for my friend. I know that this is something that he would definitely treasure. And yeah, so Juanita, thank you so much. I am going to put alcohol on this, rub it clean, because I think that's probably what happened. I probably had some dust or some residue on the mug and I didn't clean it thoroughly before embroidering on it. With this, I can see that a lot of the blurry is on the top of the rim. See, this mug has like a little curve right here. It could be that maybe that was the effect. And I am going to tape it on more to give it a more pressure on it. It's just disappointing though. I have 4 more of these. And I'm telling you, these are pricey. These are not cheap. And every time I ruin one of these, it's I'm kind of like because I know how much these things cost. So but I'm gonna tell you something. I also know that if this gets mastered, this would be a big, huge moneymaker, especially in the military community. Because I made my neighbor one, and his friend that I think was a member of the Air Force Association reached out and he was like, "How many of these can you make?" And I was like, "Oh, no, not going to do that." Because when I made my neighbors, I think it was the 4th mug that finally came out right. So this is like, I am hoping that there's a company out there that has heat presses, make one for this, because my God, it really, it kind of like sucks. You know what I mean? Because if I had a heat press, with for this type of mug, I think it would be golden. This is a 15-ounce mug. I have a heat press for this. Works great. But this is 22 ounces. And no, I need this. And I called every company. They don't make them. They said you got to do them in the oven. So I'm like, great. And I hate the oven method, but I'm going to have to figure it out. All right, guys. So anyway, I am going to say good night this evening. Let me see. Can you make the designs a tab smaller to avoid going over the? I am, Susan. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. Hey, Alyssa. I am going to do that. I am going to make the design smaller so that I can see if I can just put it right here in there. Because I think maybe that is a problem that I'm having with this mug too. But yeah, I am working on that. I'm going to make this smaller, definitely, for sure. Okay. So, guys, thanks so much for spending Friday night with me. I hope the information that I gave you guys was useful and stuff. As always, if you need help with anything, questions at all, please don't be afraid to reach out. Just put it on the Facebook or just even send me a message through Facebook. I mean, I do respond to them. Okay. I always try to respond to all the comments that people put on the YouTube channel. Okay. Negative comments and stuff and nasty comments, I always delete them. Okay. Because I'm not playing with that. Okay. So anyway, but if you have questions, need help and stuff like that, do reach out to me and I am here for you guys. So you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend, guys. And please be safe out there and enjoy the long weekend. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one, and it was great seeing all of you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.